Good afternoon, everybody. It is November 24, 2024, mid-afternoon. This is Lorraine, Alternative Homesteading. I hope everybody's doing well on this Sunday. The sun finally came out here, and it's in the 50s, and my roosters are happy. The cats are happy. We're all happy because it's a soggy, wet mess here when you live in on the edge of a national forest. Unless the sun comes out, it gets a little bit soggy. But anyway, thank you all for all the people who joined in the chat, the live chat last night. I started a little bit later, around 10:40, because I uploaded a testimony from Kenny in Pennsylvania, who saw it and came into the chat and thanked me. But then he mentioned that he's in the hospital right now, so let's send some prayers to him. When people live at a residence for a long time, when they own a residence, they know everything that's going on in their house. They've done all the repairs. It's different than living in an apartment. In an apartment, you may see things going wrong, but you're not literally physically responsible for the most part. But when you own a home, you're responsible for all the repairs. And especially if you're hands-on and you're doing the repairs, you know what you've done and what you haven't done. So I really appreciated his testimony explaining the things that he saw done to his house, how it's called Zersetzung, decomposition, where these, fusion center operatives, a former retired military, this is a psychological operation. The intel agencies send their thugs in to harass innocent people for profit. It's a psychological operation. It's warfare or sci-fare. And they'll come into your house and start destroying it little by little, reorganizing things, redoing things with your electrical, your plumbing. And you know that you didn't do it. You know that it wasn't like that before, but it's very difficult to explain to people. So I hope you have the opportunity to listen to that testimony and live stream last night. I read a chapter from the book MK Tech, and I've read from that book before. I have a difficult time reading from it because it's so dystopian. It's true. It's research. It's scientific research. It's research that's being performed in the past and currently, and it's targeted people who are acutely aware of how it's being done, what it's being done to us, but it's being carried out to the general population as well. So who are targets for people who are new to the channel? Welcome, my name is Lorraine. I moved from Manalapan, New Jersey, in a home I lived in for 30 years as the original owner. So, when people started gaslighting me about the damage to my property, I knew better than anybody that it was being done to my property. I lived there. I planted every shrub, every plant, every tree. I lived in that house before there were fences and grass. So when my property began deteriorating and nobody else was, I knew that something was up, but you just don't know. You can't put your finger on it. So who are targets? Men, women. They steal your intellectual property, your neuro rights. They want to know how you think, what you think, so they can sabotage your life in advance. They steal your intellectual property, your thoughts, your dreams. They experiment covertly on your animals and you, men and women. All the people out there, these young people that are complaining that they've got the C word. And they're dying. They're getting sick. You think this is natural? This is not normal. And then the kiddos and the pets. But just remember, you're powerful. I'm powerful, you are powerful, and we are powerful together. And they're cowards. They're cowards. They're the watchers that hide in the shrubs. They're the ones that use technology to knock you out and steal things. And this happened to me here in rural Kentucky when I moved here in 2019. My mother brought me a really pretty EMF bracelet. I didn't get to wear it for too long because they knocked me out here in my house and they stole it off my wrist. I never saw it again. Okay, they did the same thing with all of my sunglasses, all my prescription sunglasses, eyeglasses. They stole, broke them. What you need to do, if anybody approaches you about signing a letter, do not participate. If some loser knocks on your door with a cheap suit and flashes a fake bag or claims that they're with my favorite beer of instigation. I'll show you that later. Get their business card. Don't take their word for anything. These people lie. Private contractors will lie and come to your door. I have seen them. When I lived in Manalapan, New Jersey, they were walking down Sutton Drive looking at me. As I'm standing there on my driveway watching these, they look like gangsters in cheap suits, walking door to door, but they never came to mine. Now you have to understand, because I lived there longer than anybody else on the block, I knew everybody's comings and goings. They're trying to pull the wool over on somebody's eyes who's lived there forever. When the development was just built, again, I was the original owner. I didn't even have grass or trees at the time, right? And then the only other neighbor who lived there as long as me moved out a few years before, and then a perp moved into their house. That was next door. And that house flipped 2 more times after they left. So do not participate. You do not have to participate. They'll make you sign an NSA letter, a national security letter, right? So targeted individuals, we call ourselves TIs. We're targeted people, okay? It's crimes against humanity by subhuman psychopaths. They're narcissists and psychopaths, and they don't care about you. They target independent thinkers who care about the world and people, empathic, intelligent. We have a moral compass. We're change agents, and they fear us. They're afraid. They're little weenies. They rot food because they're rotten. They want you to react to study your emotions because they do not feel their own. Okay? So the universe tunes into your energy, where you put your attention and focus. A spotlight illuminates what I want the universe to bring into my life, and attention is the frequency language. So even though we are teaching about this, we also at the same time need to focus our attention on what we want to bring into our life. So if that means the end to this target and the exposure of these crimes, we need to focus on that also and bring it into our life. The real enemies of the state, hint, 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 corrupt officials and sheeple people, you know, that go along to get along. We're going to do a Q&A in a little bit. 1 second. Who participates? Cyber stalkers, gamers, parody channels. They use them to harass, stalk, and embarrass targeted people. What else? They're stupid. They perform stupid perp tricks. Here, stupid perp tricks. Right? They're immature, dumb, psychological operations, and they're sneaky as hell. Who else is involved? Citizen Corp, Neighborhood Watch. The Neighborhood Watch are watching you. Well, wait a minute. I thought stalking was a crime. You know, watching people. That's a criminal act. Peeping Toms, peeping Janes. There are peeping Tom laws. Cops, the cops program. Citizens on Patrol, funded by the Department of Justice. Shame on you, Department of Justice. There's no oversight. There's no oversight. Who are stalkers? Stalking behavior. Okay, stalking is an addiction and addiction is an obsession and a compulsion, right? So they become obsessed, and then they're compelled to stalk. It is an addiction. It's voyeurism. It's psychopathy, okay? This is not normal, healthy behavior, okay? They employ a Stasi technique called Zersetzung. It's decomposition, where they tear apart things that belong to you a little at a time, because, you know, if they just took a piece of brand new clothing and sliced it, that would be a reportable offense. So what they'll do is they'll put a little teeny tear, and then they'll come back again and do another little teeny tear, and before you know it, by the end of the week, you've got 20 little teeny tears. Who else is involved? Okay, the fusion centers. There are 80 of them across the country. Why do we need 80 fusion centers? We've only got 50 states. And why do we need fusion centers at all? And I hope the incoming administration requests an audit of the fusion centers and their operatives that go into all these towns and spread the slander defamation campaign. the fusion centers, what they do is they collect information on everybody. And then what they do is they take a little bit of piece here, a little bit of piece there, fuse them together, and then they use their storytelling techniques and create a fake narrative. They'll even falsify reports and images and dossiers, right? Yes, there are 80 in the United States. They share your information with the FBI, the Department of Justice, the Department of Homeland Security, state and local tribal law enforcement. And according to the DHS, their vital mission? Secure nations from threats. I don't know, it just baffles the mind. Secure nations from threats. Who's a threat? Well, we already discussed that. Independent thinkers. Oh, who else is involved? The witchy poos. They perform their witchcraft. Bitchcraft, you know, you're banished, gone, poof, wops. Witches on patrol. And of course, you know, we cannot leave out my favorite bureau of instigation, because that's what they do. They instigate trouble. Poke, poke, prod, prod. They instigate trouble. They send stupid neighbors around to harass you, trying to get a reaction. Oh, I had an idea that all the money that's being spent, for me, at least for me, they're probably spending like $1 million a year to harass me. I will offer all of that money that they're using to torture me to donate to all those homeless people in Appalachia, in Western North Carolina. Okay, so I propose that all the money that's being spent to torture me can go to all of those people. Okay, I think it's a great idea. And something that we need to do, because they're spreading nanites and neuro dust and all kinds of BS spraying in the sky. Like they sprayed in the sky before our rain here. It had not rained in a really long time. And the day before it rains, and of course they're spraying the skies, they sprayed this fungus all over my grass. They do it every year at this time. And it's a very slippery. It causes the grass to die out, causes mud conditions. So this is, I got this from Where Science Meets Nature. I found him first on TikTok, and he's got a YouTube channel. And this is what he said that we need for this. And the only reason I'm not saying it, you know, it seems like other channels can use those words, but when I use them, my video was removed. Yeah, just for talking about this word. That word. Okay, so this should not be here. And this should not be here. Okay, and what do? You expose them. Okay, it's organized persecution, smear campaign, warnings about the targets, the tactics they use, gang, stalking, subculture. And I hate that word, by the way. It's organized harassment. But we all know, like, it's a big secret. Shh. It's the biggest open secret on the planet. And some of the tactics they use is stonewalling. They refuse or avoid engaging in meaningful dialogue. They will deliberately shut down communications. They won't respond to your FOIA requests. Or they'll say, oh, it's an ongoing investigation. Yeah. They want to control your mind and steal your soul. The zombies are the gang stalkers. They are the sick people. And we're going to get into that too. The criminal collaboration, it's swarming, it's organized crime groups, corrupt cops, fake incident reports, citizen informants. Your neighbors are perps. And they're protected. They're sheeple people. Bah. They go along to get along. They can't create for themselves, so they steal from others. It's a total psychological operation. Psychiatric reprisal is to punish the truth teller. Now, this has been going on for decades and decades. Well, they'll say, oh, no, you're crazy. That's one of their favorite words, crazy and schizophrenic. Two of their favorite words. You know you've got a perp in your comment section if they call you crazy. It can also be revenge for hire, vigilantes, vendetta, vindictive, right? But they're all complicit. Carmageddon is on its way every day. And through freedom of information is how they manipulate information with ongoing investigations. Yeah. Like the FBI, right? They place somebody on a list, you never get off. They won't tell you. They'll send you a letter like they do with me. Well, we can't confirm or deny that you're on any list in the name of national security. Okay. Please explain to me how a 66-year-old woman is a threat to national security. Can you please? I would like it in writing with on your letterhead. Can you please define, one, what a national security threat is? Just please define it for me. And tell me how 72% of the people on the list that are women, could you just explain to me how 72% of the female population that's on your list, how that's a threat? Just please tell me. Is it because we can conceive children? That we can multitask? Or that we're just a lot smarter than you guys, huh? Yeah. They use directed energy weapons, radio frequencies, do. And another person said this, that they have walked around their house with a bug zapper, and they have been able to dispel some of the attacks on themselves. So microwave and milliliter bug zapper patent was developed February 27, 2001, US 619259-8B1. Some of the symptoms of being hit in the head repeatedly, there's cerebral fluid leakage, okay? It's with their secretive White House surveillance. Let's see. The cerebral fluid leakage is you'll have a runny nose when you don't have a cold. Your eyes will tear when you don't have a cold, and they'll tear for no reason at all, whether it's hot or cold outside. You'll have you'll feel like you have stuff in the back of your throat. This is cerebral fluid leakage. You were placed on a list. Which one? We don't know, because, they can't confirm or deny that you're actually on a list, right? So we're going to get to this question that somebody posed. I thought it was interesting as a lead into this. And thank you, everybody who was in the live stream last night. And when you have time, listen to the testimony and see the evidence that I posted in the community section under the post. And it's linked back to the testimony of Kenny in Pennsylvania. So how do I know if I'm on a gang stalker's list as a target? Now, this is a question on Quora. So, the person responds, really weird, twisted people will come into your life or lure you to a phony rental or a job, etc. At least several people, like a gaggle of geese, will try to make you crazy or unalived. They may have a financial reason, but they really enjoy the game immensely, and they get their rocks off in a really weird way. They love the power of destroying someone by isolation and violation. It's just what they do. If they were actually in a war fighting enemies for the country, they would win. But they choose to wage war with the most inappropriate choices for their targets, like the very people they're supposed to be helping. It's a very organized strangeness, obsessed with wicked and twisted torture as enjoyment. I think they even do it for free because they just get so happy with the torture of everything and everyone. But once the tables are turned, they will become the hunted because they piss everybody off eventually. And they'll all have emotional meltdowns. It's just too weird. So there isn't anybody else that responded to this, I don't think. Let me just see. Let me see here. I mean, I can just add to the fact that I noticed all these swarms of people. There would be groups of women in vehicles parked outside of my driveway. Like, I would come home from either feeding the cats, or sometimes, like, once a week I would go out to eat at Panera, and I'd come home and I'd find this group of like 3 women in a vehicle at the foot of my driveway just hanging out there. And I'd go into my house and they'd still be there, you know, maybe another 5 or 10 minutes, and then they'd drive away. And then I'd have people performing U-turns in front of me. People asking me bizarre questions, like stopping me in Target, like when I was shopping, and asking me weird questions. So anyway, again, look forward to your questions and comments. Please remember to hit the thumbs up. The question was, how do I know if I'm on a gang stalker's list as a target? Yeah, these people do get off on it. And just remember, you know, there are a lot of cyber stalkers. They hide in the shadows. The Freemasons, the Three Masons, the Creepo Masons, they're all involved. They leave their symbols behind. And I didn't realize it until the very end of performing that testimony for Kenny, that in the video with the UV light, and you'll see like a tray there, and you see all the yellow, orangey stuff, on the right-hand side, there was a symbol that was left there, and he attested to the fact that he has seen that symbol elsewhere in his house, and I have the same symbol here. That is a Freemason loser symbol. Yeah, I'm sorry. Anybody, they have to take credit for their work, so they leave their symbols behind. You know, they give themselves away every day. So this is Lorraine, Alternative Homesteading. Please remember to hit the thumbs up, and I will talk to you in the next video. Hope you have a great day.